Ladies and gentlemen, people are starting to notice something about the altcoin market. I mentioned it first about a week ago on this YouTube channel, and I want to make a video addressing it directly today. Bitcoin, it's broken all-time highs. It's at 100K. It's made headlines all across the world. It's grabbed everyone's attention. And usually when Bitcoin does this, it's the altcoin market that starts going parabolic. It's the altcoin market that people start throwing their money into, taking mortgages out and throwing their money into meme coins. That hasn't happened just yet. In fact, Ethereum is still $1,600 below its 2021 all-time high, lagging significantly behind Bitcoin, and the broader altcoin market has only just touched its 2021 all-time high before getting rejected from it and heading into a steep correction. What is going on with the altcoin market? Why is the altcoin market lagging here? Why is it lagging not only in general, but lagging in comparison to what it did in 2021 at the same period of time? We are seeing a lack of performance here in the altcoin market from a cyclically relative perspective, which is a little bit concerning, but I want to make this video to ensure you that at the moment, there's no macro structures that have been broken. At the moment, everything is still kind of okay, but we need to keep an eye on this situation. So guys, before we get into it, I want to mention one thing. It is the biggest sale I've ever had in the VIP group. So I post altcoin trading signals on Telegram 4 times a week. They have a 78% win rate tracked over the last 27 months of trading results, and you can view those results transparently in the PDF document in the Telegram group below. If you're interested in that sale, you have 4 days left. Let's check out one more thing, then we'll dive into the video. Right guys, before we get into the content here today, I want to check out the exchanges quickly and just show you what they are. Bitfinex and Blowfin. I reached out to these guys for partnership. They did not reach out to me. And that just shows you that I like these exchanges. I actually use Bitfinex personally, and Blowfin's an alternative option. They are both global, non-KYC, which is very important. You can access them from anywhere in the world, and they have both never been hacked before. So you've got historical security. They're low in trading fees. They're even lower in trading fees. If you sign up with my referral link down below on Bitfinex, you will get a 15% trading fee discount attached to your account for life. And Blowfin is that alternative option there if you don't like Bitfinex for whatever reason. So check them out. The links are down below. It takes 30 seconds to sign up. Guys, let's get into the video. I'll just mention before we get into the altcoin market, because that's what this video is. It's about altcoins. Just quickly, where's Bitcoin at? Well, we know Bitcoin has its support right here from this yellow line stemming backwards from February, right? This line cuts across a large quantity of historical price action here over the last year. And basically it's acted as support and resistance on major occasions, pivotal moments really, especially this moment here in May, which was a cataclysmic drop in the market. You might remember it. We caught the bottom there on that diagonal line, and it's also acting as support right here, right now, along with the 50 SMA on the daily chart, which of course is another very critical line. It's a very critical moving average. You can just see our interactions with the 50 SMA being important historically over and over again over the last year, and right here we're holding it currently. So if these two lines break, Bitcoin goes into a further correction. Until that happens, we're not in a correction. Until that happens, we're just drifting. We're just waiting to see what happens here. As for the upside, as we mentioned yesterday, one of our upside targets on Bitcoin, and we'll move on to altcoins in just a second here. I just want to clarify, one of our upside targets on Bitcoin is basically 102.5K roughly, okay? This line right here, I'll make it pink just so you can see it. Somewhere in that price region, that is the price region that acted as support when Bitcoin was on its leg that reached the all-time high. It's also a price region that acted as the last local resistance before the breakdown into a downwards trend, and resistance previously as well. So 102.5K roughly to the upside is our target, and to the downside, we just want to be holding that 50 simple moving average, and we just want to be holding as well that diagonal support line right there, both of which are currently standing at around 94,000. So now we can get into altcoins, and it's quite interesting, and I wanted to give you that context, not just because it's important context that you need to know, of course that's the reason, but a second reason is I wanted to give you that context because it's important to understand where Bitcoin is in order to understand where altcoins are. It's no secret, I've spoken about it many times now, Bitcoin behaves cyclically, and therefore we can take data samples from prior cycles and extrapolate them forward to show that Bitcoin is basically copying what it did in the last cycle. That's exactly what we're going to do here from 2021. You can see the horizontal resistance from the prior all-time high, the breakout of that horizontal resistance leading to our first parabolic rally of the 2021 bull market. The exact same thing has happened this time. Horizontal resistance from the prior high, rejecting from that resistance zone, finally breaking it, leading to the first parabolic rally of the bull market. We know that this green box here is the same as this green box here because it's not just, relating to the last cycle. We can also look at Bitcoin dominance, and we can see how Bitcoin dominance acted at that period of time. And we can see very clearly that on that first parabolic move in 2021, which we are pretty much copying right now, Bitcoin dominance started to plummet. The exact same thing happened this time. On that first parabolic move above the prior all-time high, Bitcoin dominance started to plummet. So it's not just a Bitcoin trend, it's an altcoin trend as well. And what we find when we go into this further, and bear with me for a moment here, I understand this might be confusing, we find that obviously Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle. And so it means Bitcoin moves cyclically. It does certain things at certain phases of the cycle. And this is all interconnected within a larger umbrella date range trend. But it's not just Bitcoin that moves cyclically, okay? It's the altcoin market that moves cyclically as well. What we look at when we look at Bitcoin dominance is a date range trend, just like that on the Bitcoin chart with regular 4-year cycle trends. We see that Bitcoin dominance drops off. First of all, it drops off at the same period of time in each cycle, okay, around when Bitcoin breaks its prior all-time high. But second of all, it drops for the same amount of time in each cycle. So Bitcoin dominance dropped first in February 2017. We entered an altcoin season, and that altcoin season lasted 322 days. The exact same amount of days in the following cycle in 2021, the altcoin season lasted 322 days. And if it was to last 322 days again, it would drag on from when it started in November to October 2025, which is when the Bitcoin 4-year cycle predicts the date range top. So all of this is connected. The Bitcoin market, the altcoin market, it's all connected. Now, the reason why in the introduction I mentioned that people are having doubts about the altcoin market right now is because if we look at the last cycle, which we know is relevant to this current cycle due to the fact that they're all connected, we see a weekly chart, ascending support line in the Bitcoin dominance chart, a weekly chart support line in the Bitcoin dominance chart, and when both those things broke down, we very clearly entered the altcoin season. Now, you can draw that line in a different place if you want. You can draw it up here. You can draw it over here when we actually broke down. It's valid regardless. The point is, we entered the altcoin season when we broke the structural support, as you can see on the weekly chart here. And the exact same thing has happened this time, and it's at the exact same part of the cycle. So we have the structural support in the RSI, broke it to the downside. We broke the price chart support at the same time. And that is when Bitcoin broke its prior all-time high. That is when Bitcoin entered its first parabolic leg. And that is hence when Bitcoin dominance should have started dropping. And it did start dropping. Now, the only reason why people are having doubts about Bitcoin dominance in the altcoin season right now is because Bitcoin dominance has actually started rising again in the last 2 weeks, and it's getting close to breaking above its prior high. Now, if it breaks above its prior high, we can't really say it's an altcoin season because that means that Bitcoin dominance is still in an upwards trend, and therefore Bitcoin is still controlling the market. And if Bitcoin dominance is not in a downwards trend, that means that our trend-based measurements, which predict that Bitcoin dominance will bottom out after 322 days, are thrown off, and that is a major hole in the entire 4-year cycle itself. So I hope I've explained that problem well enough. It's a very complicated problem to explain. The fundamental reality is this. Altcoins in the last 2 weeks have been getting a little bit wrecked against Bitcoin. Okay, they haven't been doing very, very well against Bitcoin. And this has caused some eyebrows to start getting raised amongst cyclical analysts. They're thinking, altcoins are meant to be outperforming Bitcoin dramatically right now. Why aren't they? And will they continue to follow the regular cycle? Now, I think the reason that altcoins have been doing worse off in comparison to the last cycle at the same period of time is because Ethereum, for example, the leader of the altcoin market, was unable to break above its structural resistance from March 2024 when Bitcoin dominance actually started. So Ethereum wasn't in a breakout when Bitcoin dominance started dropping. But in the prior cycle, Ethereum was in a breakout when Bitcoin dominance started dropping. So we go back to 2017. And we see that Ethereum was actually above its 2017 all-time high by February 2021, which is when Bitcoin dominance started in the last cycle. And this time, it's not even near its all-time high. It's still 1,500 or 1,700 points away. So we're not even really near where we were in the last cycle on Ethereum. We're not showing anywhere near as much strength at the moment. And we can also see on the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart, the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart is not in a parabolic breakout. It's not ready to start running ridiculously. It's actually got rejected from its 2021 all-time high. So the reason, in my view, that Bitcoin dominance has seen a bit of a hiccup here and isn't just plummeting like it did in the last cycle quite yet is because the altcoin market just wasn't ready. It wasn't structurally ready. We were not as high as we were in the previous cycle. We still have these historical resistance zones. We're not in price discovery like we were in the previous cycle. And so when Bitcoin started showing some degree of slow, progression in this upwards trend, some degree of weakness, unlike in the last cycle when altcoins just kept running because they were at all-time highs, altcoins were at fresh resistance. whereas Bitcoin was at all-time highs. So people actually felt safer in Bitcoin. Bitcoin had been outperforming altcoins in terms of historical price analysis. It was Bitcoin that was breaking headlines. It was Bitcoin that was at 100K, while Ethereum was still 1,500 points below its prior all-time high. Now, although there are these slight discrepancies from a short-term basis, although altcoins are not really doing as well as they should be doing right now in comparison to the last cycle, the fact of the matter is nothing on macro has changed. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance has not actually broken into an upwards trend. So there's no change here macro-wise. And if we're talking about a 4-year cycle, we're talking about a macro trend, we need macro invalidations and macro validations to determine that there's been differences and changes to the macro structure. Right now, we simply don't have that, okay? The fact that Bitcoin dominance has ticked upwards a little bit means nothing until it actually breaks all-time highs. If it breaks all-time highs, then the trend gets thrown off, and then we start to consider alternative scenarios for the altcoin market. It's important to note, if the trend with Bitcoin dominance gets thrown off, that doesn't necessarily mean the 4-year cycle breaks, because the 4-year cycle is related to Bitcoin. Altcoins follow Bitcoin and react to Bitcoin. So it's a Bitcoin-related broader trend. The altcoin market is just following along. So it'd be weird, but it wouldn't really be the end of the world. And if we're looking at the Ethereum BTC chart, so the Ethereum chart measured against Bitcoin instead of being measured against US dollars, Ethereum, of course, being the leader of the altcoin market, and hence when this chart goes upwards, it means that altcoins are doing well. When it goes downwards, it means that altcoins are doing badly. We do see an Ethereum BTC that's ready to bounce. We see an Ethereum BTC with bullish divergence from a very long time ago in October last year, so 14 months of bullish divergence. We see an Ethereum BTC in a macro descending channel formation, ready to blast to the upside. We see an Ethereum BTC on strong structural support stemming back years on end to 2016. I think this is a bottoming out zone. If we swing to the upside here, guess what? Bitcoin dominance plummets and everything gets back into a safe position. So I'm not really too concerned at the moment about the altcoin market. Yes, it's underperforming against Bitcoin. Perhaps that, justifies your decision to hypothetically, not touch the altcoin market too heavily right now. Maybe you want to wait and see what happens with altcoins. Maybe you don't want to throw thousands of dollars at meme coins right now. Maybe you want to sit on standby and wait to see if everything is perfect. If you want to take that cautious approach, that's justified, okay? There's abnormal market environment here in the short term, and therefore you can, have a reasonable response by, taking a more conservative approach. That's completely fine. But from a macro scale here, nothing's changed just yet. The altcoin market underperforming in comparison to last cycle is just a short-term discrepancy until proven otherwise. Until we actually see macro changes, there's really nothing to be concerned about too heavily right here. Definitely worth keeping an eye on though. And if you justify it, or if you can justify it, perhaps it's maybe worth taking a more cautious approach of altcoins at this period of time. That's up to you. So overall, just making this video to tell you that although altcoins have been acting slightly strangely from a cyclical perspective, there's no major concerns here just yet, but I will keep you updated. Guys, thank you for watching. Leave a like down below, comment. It helps me out a lot in the algorithm. If you chuck a comment down there, just say thank you, leave an emoji, anything you want, and also check out those exchanges. Actually, before we get into the exchanges, I'll just show you the VIP group, which is on sale right now. The biggest sale we've ever had on VIP, 150 USD for access until the 1st of May. You're getting 4 trading signals a week. Those trading signals have a 78% win rate over the course of 27 months, I believe, of trading results. And all of those trading results are transparent. You can view them right here. You're also getting access to a group chat. It's on sale for 5 more days. 4 more days actually, so don't miss it. And then I'll check out the exchanges here. Use my links down below to sign up to BitTunics or Blowfin. It takes 30 seconds of your time. You're getting on an exchange that's never been hacked before. That's very low in trading fees. That's even lower in trading fees with my referral link. You'll get a permanent discount on BitTunics, and you can get access to a reward center as well. 5,500 USDT on rewards on BitTunics, and over 5,000, I believe, on Blowfin. Either way, they're good exchanges. Check them out down below. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you soon.